Because it's the temptation. As soon as I see a lens like that, I go, just do a silly thing. Why? It's childish. Why can't I grow up and be mature?
No.
Because they're invading your space, so you troll them back.
But sometimes my wife sees a picture in the papers when there's something I've done, and it's me going like that. Why do you need to do that? It's tragic. You're an old man. Get over it.
Oh my god. It's just a number.
You were a troll. You were a troll before they had the term, you know. But well, we had a nice chat earlier, but I want to ask you three questions. So one, there's a lot of talk about self-driving future robo taxis. There's car sharing as a huge movement that just keeps going. But there's always this pull, the status symbol of having your own car, parking it in your garage, owning it, and you know in the industry, those people are, you just brush them off. You go outside, you talk to normal people, it's a big issue. What do you think the future of, you know, this kind of, the modal changes, the splits, what do you think it's going to go to in the next 10, 20 years? Do you think it's going to be a dramatic shift towards robo-taxis, towards sharing?
Yeah, I think it will be. I mean, I think what's interesting is the people who get an enormous amount of attention and who hog the airwaves, if you like, are the very small majority of, and it has to be said, mostly men, who think that a car says something about them, who think of it as a status symbol, as something that is part of their personality. And I think those people exist without question. And I also think they will never change. They're like that forever. And they may, some of them may die out, but there'll be new ones that there will always be people, I think, that are in that way, and they will always want to own a car that they think is a status symbol that says something. I actually think most people, the majority of people, are not interested in cars. Two, want to be able to get around in comfort and safety. Those are really important features, with the least amount of hassle and the least amount of money. And I think those people will adjust. So therefore, the majority of people will adjust absolutely without trouble to using a simpler system, a system that doesn't involve so much expense. It's a very expensive thing. And when you explain to people how much their car costs them, one thing is they're surprised how much it costs them because they don't think of it in those terms, because we're used to it and it's normal. And then when they work out how little they use that very expensive item, they then start to really question.
It was interesting though that, you know, my graduate degree was city planning, and I focused professionally for a while on helping people to understand how much sense it made to bike instead of driving to the gym. And there's so many things that make sense, but it's so hard to get through psychological barriers and habits. Yeah. And so I continue to wonder, is it really, I know it's compelling, the sell is like, it's sort of crazy that we don't do, but do you think that psychological barrier would just be broken down like it?
I think it will. I actually think it will be generational. So I think my generation would have enormous amount of trouble accepting like a fully autonomous vehicle and trusting it and believing that. Well, my children's generation, my son is 24.
Why would I buy a car?
They're never going to buy a car. My daughter can drive. My son never wants to learn to drive. He's not interested. He doesn't want to own a car. You know, in a sense, his status.
And they're not city. Are they city people?
They're city. My son lives in Sydney in Australia at the moment, and he lived in London for a long time. So he's you know, it just doesn't make, it makes no sense to him. He can't understand why anyone would bother. You know, the idea of owning a car is a complete mystery to him.
And so another funny phenomenon. So you know, I love that you have a very similar communication messaging aim that we do on Clean Tech. We love to hype we love to explain what Tesla is doing really well, but we love to also explain to people actually other electric cars are great, and they, you know, it's not just a Tesla thing, it's an electric mobility thing often, and people don't realize this.
I mean, they steal the limelight a lot of the time, and I mean, they are doing some amazing innovative stuff, but so are a lot of other people, and they're you know, even the idea of Renault and Nissan using their old car batteries for domestic storage or static storage. Tesla are making new batteries for static storage. I know that because I've got some of it.
And I mean, you switched to a Tesla Model S, and we have a Model S at home, and we understand the dramatic benefit. You know, Tesla has some competitive advantages. For sure, the company's going to keep growing because of its advantages. But where do you see it falling as, you know, in 10 years again, for example, as the market matures? Do you think people will be migrating towards e-Golfs, you know, Volkswagen IDs, Volkswagen Buzzes?
It's possible. I mean, I think once you're seeing vehicles that cost maybe $10,000 less, but actually have a genuine all year round real world with hills, rain, frost, 200-mile range, then they're going to go, well, it'll be one of the cars you could choose in a range, and that time is getting closer. I also think that I'm longing to see a Tesla transport system rather than a private car. It's very much aimed at the traditional car-owning market. That's what they're doing. Whereas I'm seeing here and in Europe...
Tesla network,
Yeah, but I'm seeing here like other shapes, round things that have wheels that you can sit four people in that just take you a couple of miles.
Well, Kuba and I we're heavily excited about minibuses, electric minibuses.
Electric minibuses are amazing. Electric minibuses without a driver. I think we're going to see that sort of autonomous vehicle first. It's not going to be an autonomous car where you sit back as an executive and your steering wheel folds away and you will get on your laptop.
And we saw that in Elon's second master plan. This minibuses idea, some semi-truck. Do you think their brand, their company will shift to this as the market shifts again? There will be ahead of the curve,
and they do seem to be consistently ahead of the curve, and I constantly feel sorry, and I see it in their faces for other manufacturers. So I spend a lot of time with the likes of Jaguar Land Rover in the UK. Amazing stuff they're doing, but they know, and the engineers, and particularly the engineers in design, know they're 10 years behind, and they're looking at this company that are just way ahead of them. And that was the thing that I had confirmed again and again. What was the first thing that happened when the Tesla Model S was released? Jaguar Land Rover, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen bought 10, 15 of them, stripped them down, put them on the wall, all their parts.
But my impression is they started to get serious, they started to look at it, but it wasn't really till the Model 3 came along, and then more so when it became clear they were going to hit production, and they were going to actually get to production. That's when it seemed to really heat up the competition, right?
Think historically, the role that Tesla, so like in 100 years' time, when people look back at this period, they'll go, there was this massive, lumpy, complacent, lazy, massive industry, this huge industry that just churned out the same car year after year, but they put a different front on it, and they put different little bit on the corner, and then the indicator button is different, really annoying, tiny changes, and then suddenly a company came along that literally kicked them in the pants and went, we're making a product that's better, and they were terrified, they were absolutely thrown by it, but what it did do in the good cases was galvanise them. I mean, the latest offerings from Jaguar Land Rover that will come out next year are Tesla equivalents, I would say. They're as good, and they might be cheaper.
Yeah, no,
beautifully engineered.
I've been hearing really good things.
They are very, very impressive what they're doing. And not only that, they're also retrofitting their original vehicles. So they're now starting to retrofit the classic Jaguars that guys with the driving gloves. And the special glasses. They love to drive. Well, they are making them, and they are.
They've got one of the most beautiful cars. I forget the name of this.
The E-Type, Jaguar. They just converted one that we've just done a thing about that.
But there's another,
and beautifully done as well.
But a third thing. So, I'm heavily in favor of, you have to make this stuff fun. Tesla's huge success has been the technical product, their engineering, but it's also been the way they've made it fun.
Yeah.
And you would do this superbly. Everybody loves your show because you're hilarious and you make it fun and you have a lot of fun with it. We try to do the same thing, but if you were to identify, what would you say is a key thing that others in the industry, especially maybe in the auto manufacturing industry, what do you think, or any part of this clean tech space, what do you think they should do or could do to not just fake fun, not just fake PR fluff fun, but real fun? What needs to happen to change that?
I think it has to be. It's so annoying because all I do is struggle not to be an Elon Musk / Tesla fanboy.
Yeah, I know. Believe me,
that he's a funny guy. I've met him once briefly, but he's a funny guy, and what he tweets is like, he doesn't care.
He's hilarious.
It's in a sense that he's the anti-Trump.
He's so candid.
Some people go, you can't say that. Or Trump goes, yeah, screw you, I'm going to say it. I'm the best. We all know he's not the best, he's one of the worst. Yeah. And then Elon Musk goes, we're going to do this, and I don't care, and we're going to send a rocket up in space, and it's going to land. And everyone goes, you're crazy, it's not going to work.
And he's so candid and so real, and I said this about you earlier as well. I think this is one reason of many the people love your show, is you're so candid and so real. And people are craving that. They want to cut. They don't want the bullshit. They don't want anything that's professionally manicured. They want real and candid. But I don't know, how do you get big industries to be real and candid?
Real and candid. They desperately do need to be. I think maybe they survive, and they need to learn that that's going to be a very key point. I think there are exceptions. Carlos Ghosn is an amazing.
Yeah, I love Carlos.
Extraordinary man.
He's hilarious as well.
He's a hilarious guy, and he speaks 407 languages. And they're all perfect, and it's really annoying. I don't know how he does it. But I think that example of, say, if you interview boss X from, say, Ford or I don't know, GM, and you say, what do you think of hydrogen cars? Oh, well, that's an interesting thing. We're looking into it and we're really interested. It could be a really brilliant thing. And you ask Elon Musk, hydrogen is bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit.
So there you go, there's the end of that. Well, he might be wrong, but that clarity of that argument just goes, oh.
And he doesn't, it's not all couched in various things,
Yeah, well, so that's, and I think people do like that. They do like that refreshing. It doesn't even matter whether he's right or wrong. It's just the clarity of that message is very clear. So.
Well, thank you again for your time. We'll chat more for sure in the future, but thank you for what you're doing. So here's one of Fully Charged, 2 behind the scenes guys. And you were first or second? Or First.
Yeah, I working with Robert.
So you and Robert doing a 2-man show, making it look like a 12-person show. So how has the growth been? How has the transition been for you doing this?
It has been amazing. I started working with Robert about just over 3 years ago. And I was working as a technician at the same time, so kind of a crossover of permanent work and then Fully Charged. But it's been so good, just travelling all over the world,
seeing amazing people and projects.
Just every person we meet is completely different. Not completely different, but it's so different to the next person and the next idea and the next sort of invention.
And I'm sure you had the idea early on, like this is the future, we should get into this. But you probably also didn't have the feeling like. I mean, you didn't have the expectation it would be growing so fast to what you've.
No, I never thought it would grow this fast. And I think I always had, because I've been watching Fully Charged for a few years, and I loved it, and I was like, I can kind of help make it look better and sound better, but I didn't want to change it. And I wanted to just sort of help more people see it and understand that this was such a good thing. So I kind of knew, but I kind of predicted that the growth should be as good as it has been.
Yeah.
But I think the same ideas and the same sort of concept and
so what stage? So how long was he doing it before you?
2000 and about 4 years, I think.
Okay.
3 or 4 years on his own.
Okay, I didn't realize it went back that far. Yeah.
2011.
Wow. Okay. And you caught on real early, and you said, "I'm going to partner with this guy."
Well, but I don't think the sort of feeling or the sort of the message behind it has changed.
Yeah,
so
no, it's very
commenting on.
And I mean, I think that's what we love too. It's very candid, very real, very human, and of course, he's got this humanity to him that's wonderful, and you capture that really well, and capture a lot of funny stuff. So I'll interview the third guy number 3. So, and what's your name again? So. Mark?
Yeah, Ink Sharpman on Twitter.
Okay, and number 3, Fully Charged number 3. I'm turning the camera on you guys.
Hi.
So you guys doing great work. When did you jump on board?
So, fairly full-time from January this year.
From January. Yeah. And what's your name again?
Stuart.
And what do you control?
I help Mark with the cameras and sometimes the audio and the editing as well.
And I know you guys. You're never inclined to turn the cameras back on yourself, but I'm sure so many people love the show now. That I thought people would love to know, who's doing this. Yeah, put on your GQ pants. I've seen you in GQ. I think was it GQ or maybe a different magazine?
Yeah, I use my head in those cameras.
Oh, maybe that was 5 years.
It's just the abs basically they go for.
Yeah,
carrying the cameras all day. These are very heavy cameras, obviously. So
and what got you? What pulled you into it?
I've always worked in videos and production, and I love the show, and I'm really into electric vehicles. So when I found out sort of Mark was working there and how amazing the show was, obviously I wanted to.
You knew each other for a while?
No.
Okay.
I was just a big fan of the show.
Okay.
And this is maybe opening the door for loads of other fans right here that wanted to work.
So you just came in and
did
said
some work for them, and also we knew some of the same people in Bristol. Some people that I'd worked with. So it's just it's great fun. It's an honour, working with these two.
Is the best part just having fun with it? You guys seem to travel around, you have fun, and you get to cover what interests you, basically.
I would be hard pressed to think of a part of working for Fully Charged that isn't fun. There's nothing that
And do you guys have?
It's one of those things that all the boxes are ticked for me. It's something that I'm passionate about. It's a great show. It's good quality. So I'm just grateful that the people are subscribing. Support the show on Patreon.
Everybody loves it. Everybody loves the show. I mean, I remember seeing it when it was a few thousand views maybe even a few hundred views a video, and thinking this is great, this is really great, they should get more attention. Now you check in and like, holy shit, they got a lot of freaking traffic on this. They got a lot of views on these videos.
It's lovely
but
hearing
everybody in the industry loves. I mean, I swear, everywhere you go, everyone knows fully charged and they love it. So it's
well, it's great hearing that, but hearing it from Clean Technica is even better. To me, it's like,
Yeah, no, it is, seriously, it really is. When I started, it was 25,000 subscribers, and now it's 220,000, I think, around that. So it's gone up in a few years.
Yeah, it's insane.
Speaking to people at YouTube, they say that first curve is it's not that steep. Once it gets there, it goes kind of...
Yeah, no, that's the harder part. Yeah.
It's kind of hard bit. Some people say, oh, they're making the first millions easy. I think...
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, you guys...
Each week is getting more and more, and it's...
Yeah, we have to keep in touch and keep collaborating. I think obviously complimentary, but we should do more directly. Do you guys have EVs? Do you what's your you can say no comment if you soon.
I was gonna lie and say yes. I don't. I'm it's great working on the show though, because I'm getting some real inside knowledge about what works, what doesn't work, cars that are great. Also the cars that are well out of my price range. On the wish list. I've got a bicycle that I use. I'm trying to commute to fully charged headquarters on my bicycle these days. It doesn't always happen.
And I'm a massive hypocrite.
What's that?
I drive a diesel.
But that's the beauty, because we're excited. People are excited about it now who haven't had the opportunity or felt its time yet.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys obviously you're in the choir, so you're going to be on stage here soon. But
turning up at low carbon events in like clouds of smoke, really.
Well, I was car free for 13 years, and I was an top EV guy, right? And people don't. And I'm like, well, the best way to live, I think, is car free. But if you're going to drive, by far the best choice is an EV. But
I mean, I'm quite interested in trying to see if I can do the scrapping scheme in the UK.
Yes.
Keep your car in, then my car qualifies for the top whack of money.
But what are you waiting for? Specific like Model 3, some other?
Teslas. I know that's weird, but I don't.
Oh, you're not it? Yeah.
I like the e-Golf. That'd be my.
What do you think about the Volkswagen ID or?
All the ID.
These look cool.
What is it? The Buzz. And the
Buzz.
Cross. Is it Cross?
Yeah, Cross or Cross. I don't know. I've seen both spellings.
They look amazing.
I've got Reliant Scimitar in my garage, an old British 70s classic car. I'm saving up to convert to electric.
Sweet. Conversions are going to be a fun market too. Yeah.
Oh, I hope so. It's just we're so busy with the show.
Yeah.
I don't have time to
just hire someone to do it for you.
No,
it should be fun.
That would be great. That's my dream.
Well, thanks again for what you're doing. Amazing work. We love it. Everybody loves it. And I can't imagine you're not going to blow up exponentially with the market. So thanks a lot.
Thanks for your help.